It takes forever. All right, we are live on Facebook. Hello, everyone. My name is Claudine, and welcome to episode 2 of Breaking Bread and Borders, a conversation about home, food, and migration. I'm so happy to be able to be with y'all on this glorious Saturday. Things have been bananas in our world consistently forever. But over these last 2 weeks, they feel particularly loud and in our face. And so to be able to have this space to connect with like-minded folks, to be able to have the space to create some grounding, to talk about things that bring us joy, brings me an immense amount of joy. And so I'm so happy to be here with y'all and with our guests today. And so what I want to do is go around and ask folks to introduce themselves. So I'm going to start with Getty, who is below me. Yes, ma'am. Rip the Band-Aid off. I'm going to start with Getty, who is below my little Zoom screen. And I'm going to ask you, what's your name? Where are you from? And what is one particular piece of comfort food that you have been consuming during these last couple of weeks, during COVID, Black Lives Matter revolution, all of that? What is one piece of food that has brought you joy?
I just want to mention that this was the worst thing about being an immigrant, because my last name starts with A, so I was always the first one being called. So hopefully she won't start off with me, but here we go. In my best Claudine voice, hey y'all.
Hey.
Hey. My name is Getty Antiste. I was born in Martinique by a Haitian mother and a very Haitian godmother. We migrated to New Jersey, and I've kind of like been a traveling gypsy in a way. I landed in Hartford, Connecticut, and now I've relocated to Rhode Island. I am the culinary artist of Antiste Eatery, Wasumi Experience, and Afro Eats, and food is my love language. What I've been consuming is anything I feel like consuming at this point. Like I said, I just transitioned to a new place, a new environment. So I'm kind of like doing all the bad things I ain't supposed to be doing. But I feel like maybe I will say all the pastas, all the pastas and all the rice and peas, all the things that you're not supposed to consume. So yeah, did I miss something?
No,
I got everything.
You got everything. Thank you. And I'm so happy you're here with us and finally on the front part of the screen and not just the back end doing all the heavy lifting. So I'm going to kick it over to Shakira next. What's your name? Where are you from? And what piece of food has been bringing you joy during these really shitty times?
So my name is Shakira Perez, and I was born and raised in Hartford, but my parents are from Puerto Rico. My father is from Gurabo, Puerto Rico, and my mom is from Santa Isabel. I am a teacher at Classical Magnet in Hartford. I teach 8th and 12th grade. That's fun. And, and remotely is even funner.
Remotely?
No, it's not.
Right, because life. Yes.
Yeah.
Criminy.
It was a challenge. But so one thing that I've adopted over the past year, like a healthier lifestyle for health reasons. But one of the things that I still just take 3 bites max of is cake.
Yeah.
Yes.
You said that so solidly.
It's cake.
3 bites.
I don't care what kind of frosting it has. I don't really like chocolate cake, but I've had chocolate cake. Like I've made an exception during this COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
But yeah, just cake.
Cake.
Mm-hmm.
Here for it.
Yeah.
Thank you for what you do. 8th and 12th grade is no joke because those ages scare the crap out of me.
Right.
Next, Shanique.
Yes. So, hey everyone, I'm Shanique. I'm from Hartford, but my parents are from Clarendon, Jamaica. They migrated over here, both in their 20s. And yeah, I've been the manifestation of not their dreams. I
Sorry, Mom.
Sorry, Mom.
Sorry, not sorry.
There's a lot of pressure, coming from immigrant parents, fulfill everything. And it's kind of that mix of like, what do you want to do? But what were those before you not afforded to do that you now want to fulfill for them? So it's that flux of in between. A food that's been keeping me, besides some wine,
Stay
it
hydrated.
It doesn't nourish the stomach, but it nourishes something, right?
Soul.
Something. It would have to be Nutella. Like Nutella is my don't eat. I'm like, okay, let's throw some Nutella on it. I've thrown Nutella on a couple things, including chicken, and it wasn't too bad. It was like I was eating chicken and waffles. And then I happened to get onto the chicken. I was like, I took the bottle and I was just like,
it happened to get on the chicken.
So every day, that's my comfort food now. Just get a little Nutella.
Natalia, yeah.
Okay.
Sounds like a joke to me.
I will not yuck your yum. And my name is Claudine, like I said. What were the questions I asked y'all? Name, where are you from, comfort food, or thing that's helping you get through? So my name's Claudine. I am Haitian American, so both of my parents are from Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Yes. Both are from Port-au-Prince, Haiti. I was born here. My sisters were born in America. And comfort food, something that I've been eating a lot, is the same thing from the last episode, is lemons and all derivative of lemons. Particularly right now, I go back and forth between making lemon pound cake and eating lemon curd, and lemon curd on bagels, bread, anything. Like I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I need to toast this thing and then spread lemon curd on it. And it like brings me joy and it's fresh and all of those different things. So I'm still on this lemon kick and I don't think that's going away right now.
That's okay.
Thank you.
I wore a yellow shirt because I know you're a lover of lemon.
And yellow is my favorite color.
Life gave her lemons and she made curd. So
yes.
There you have it.
Yo, that's the theme of these last few months.
You made some curd.
Yes. And so Connecticut UndocuFund was born because, and folks in the chat, if you're watching, feel free to answer those questions yourself. This is a community. I know people are watching on Facebook Live. Interact, engage with each other. This community was born to strengthen bonds between folks, but also to protect undocumented people who are continuously left behind by our government. So COVID-19 hit in March. Those stimulus packages rolled out. And who is left on the sidelines? Folks who are undocumented. And so Connecticut UndocuFund project came together to raise funds and to make sure that our undocumented community is also seen and validated for the life and the work and the value that they bring to the rest of society. And so, like I said, these conversations are created to be able to highlight and create a platform for our migration experiences, either ourselves or via our family. And food is often a connector for those conversations, right? Food is a thing that brings joy to people. Food is a thing that creates space for people. Food is a thing that continues to tell stories across generations, and being able to use food as an anchor to have conversations with people from multiple different generations, multiple different backgrounds, multiple different experiences. It often just kind of creates this beautiful centering point. And so with that, my first question to y'all is, what is your earliest food memory? And Getty, I won't make you go first. I'm gonna open this up to whoever wants to answer first. Yes, Kira, come through.
So even though I was born and raised here in Hartford, I went to Puerto Rico every single summer. So I spent a lot of, and I'm my mom's only child. So my cousins became my brothers and sisters, and I spent a lot of time with them. But one of my first memories, and I think I still carry it with me, is sitting at my grandmother's table, eating bread and drinking coffee at like the age of, I don't know, I was probably 7, at a point where the coffee should have stunted my growth, but it didn't. But just like, and I still carry that, like, I cannot get my day started until I've had that cup of coffee. And like, there's something about holding the cup and smelling the coffee. And even as it's brewing, I use Café Bustelo, and, to me, that's the strongest, best coffee. I'm sure there's better coffee, but that's my crack, for lack of a better word. Yeah. And then just like having that piece of fresh baked bread from the bakery that my grandfather went and purchased in the morning and brought to the house, and just café con pan, like that's what it was. That was my breakfast, and then off to go play and chase chickens. But that I definitely, that was like my first, not my first memory, but it's the memory that's most ingrained is that coffee, especially just, and being on the island. So like people tell me, oh, we're going to Puerto Rico, we're gonna go stay at a resort, and I'm like, really? Because I'm going to my grandma's house, and then just having that memory, and the fact that even still, like just this morning, I had to have my coffee. I was like, oh, I need coffee. That's it for me. So yeah, definitely coffee is it. And I know it's not a food, but
it is a food.
It's in a food group.
Didn't we just say wine is food?
Oh yes, yes.
Right? Wine is food. It nourishes something. We don't know exactly what, but something. To go off what Ms. Perez said, I also share that memory of like going away to Jamaica every summer. Ever since I was like maybe 3, it was always like, all right, summer is here. School ended yesterday. You're on a plane to Jamaica tomorrow.
The next day.
Go. And food has always been my family's love language, whether it's like, I would arrive in Jamaica and I would just have all my aunts and uncles just like greeting me with like breadfruit and tamarind and like cherries and fever grass and coconut and passion fruit and ackee and all these other things. Here, eat.
All the good stuff.
I remember my grandfather, my father's father, we didn't really have a relationship because of distance, right? Me living in America and him living in Jamaica, but he was always like, you want some sugar cane? And he would go to his farm and like cut some sugar cane and bring it to me. And that was his acknowledgement of me. We didn't speak a lot, but that was enough to like let me know that he loved me. And then my other family members as well, my mom's family like showered me in everything. And we made sure that we're really creative. When we would pack certain things, that aren't necessarily allowed because of TSA. You got to pack them in a certain way because there's no way to get that here. And I think that's really important in preserving like family across the borders, like distances, like getting that food, because that's what really brings us together. I wouldn't have known about any of like half of those foods, like June plum, for example, because that's not here. And so every time I think about like Jamaica, I just think about the food and packing barrels and hiding food and as I can, because when I come here, I won't be able to afford the type of food that I'm eating down there for basically free.
That's true.
Of like farms and like greenlands where they grow all this stuff for free, and it's a very giving environment. I'm sorry. Just to add to that, Shanique, so quickly, you're so right. So like you're hiding stuff like in a suitcase. And I just remember like we would always get requests like, can you bring me back some avocado? Right. So again, it reminded me of that when you said crossing the borders and getting stuff that you don't necessarily can get here. And I just remember going the day before I left Puerto Rico, we would go to the post office with this big box of gennips that we just picked off the tree because,
Listen.
Right. And imagine you're 7 years old and you're here like, oh my God, I'm carrying all this like stuff. Please don't pull me over. And so I'm putting on my like most sincerest face, like.
It's not that serious, by the way.
And I remember one time like they caught me and I was like, Mom, they taking everything. No food. She was like, no, they didn't check the sneakers. Just watch. So they were just really creative in like places they would hide things, because it was like, yo, we're gonna get this to our family regardless. Regardless, so we're gonna get this food over there regardless.
I want to amplify one thing that you said too about the sugarcane and the connection and demonstrations of love, right? And Getty, I don't want to take away from your answer, but like this idea of how our people demonstrate love is typically not like using words and like physical affection, right? If you think about the 5 love languages, acts of service is like up there for our people. And like cutting sugarcane is no small thing, right? And that labor, what I just imagined was like the labor of love and intention that goes into like cutting the sugarcane down and then offering it to the little boo-boo that came from America. Like that just, I don't know, that resonated for me. Thanks.
I agree. I thought about like coconut, like I remember them calling up the tree, getting a coconut, cutting it, and then cracking open and eating the inside. Oh,
drinking the water.
Yes. I will say for me, my earliest memory of food was like running around in Laku, which is like the yard, and with no pants on, barefoot. Who wears pants?
Because who wears pants, yo?
And running around catching chickens. And we used to grow chickens on our balcony, and we used to grow chickens in our yard and running around like catching chickens, and later on, you know, eating chicken from the pot and eating all the chicken from the pot and getting beaten because of that, because then everyone's coming to the house to eat and there's no more chicken in the pot because Getty has snuck in the kitchen.
And it only tastes good when you sneak in and you get it.
Only time. I snuck in the kitchen and, you know, whatever chicken stew or whatever it was, and I would eat all the meat out the pot. And then I can't even count how many beatings. I just never got the point. Even when I moved to, even when I migrated to United States, I was still getting beatings, still getting in trouble for eating meat out the pot. But when I thought about the story the other day, and I was just like, I don't know if I necessarily believed that I was doing something wrong. Like I never thought anything wrong with just eating the meat out the pot. That was just like my earliest memory of like, you know, enjoying food, running around, chasing chickens, and a lot of not wearing any pants doing so. Thinking about it, like food, running around the house, no pants. Food, running around eating from the pots, no pants. Like, that was just, but yeah, I think, and the coconut and sugarcane, of course, that goes right along with it.
Yeah, and like the theme that I'm seeing with your story, Getty, is like freedom, right? Okay. And a little bit of spiciness from like taking from the pot and being like daring. But freedom.
What you gonna do, Mom? Yeah.
What you gonna do? Kira, something you said about coffee and being young and drinking coffee. I also remember drinking coffee at a very, very young age. Was that something y'all experienced growing up too?
No, we drink tea.
You drink tea?
Everything. Even during this COVID thing, Mom, shout out to you.
Yep.
Concoctions this woman makes, not all of them taste good, but you better drink it, because if you catch sick, it's your it's the ginger, the garlic, the honey, the turmeric, the the elderberries, whatever the WhatsApp professors told her. You mix it up and you give it. You better drink it because I won't be there to take care of you. I was like, okay.
Yes, what's up?
It wasn't until I got older that I started to appreciate tea, because it was one of like my mantras of like grounding. It was like, ooh, tea, it makes me feel good. Versus when I was like, why can't I just have juice? Why don't y'all have juice in the morning? I see all these white kids have orange juice. I just make it with tea. Right.
I love that idea of the grounding ritual. And Shakira, that's also what you said, right? Like having your cafe con pan is like grounding for you. That you feel off when you're not able to do that like morning ritual. I've been having a lot of conversations lately around joy and how we're continuing to center joy during the part 2 of our revolution and COVID. And so like in thinking about food and food also being my love language, how are y'all remaining grounded and centering joy, either through food, either through connecting with your family, however, whatever it looks like? How are y'all doing that?
I think I'm connecting by staying connected with my community. Like I said, I just transitioned to a new area, a new space. But before I left, I made some really great connections with individuals. And when COVID happened, it interrupted all my businesses. Like I do have a regular 9 to 7 balls and chain job that we don't talk on anything. But all my creative jobs, my catering and stuff, like all that put a halt on everything. You know, we have clients right now that we still have to produce events for. But when it happened, I became really depressed because, like I said, cooking is my love language. Like I cook and feed people, and half the time I'm not even eating. I just want to watch you eat, and I'm sitting here like, how does it taste? What's going on? You know?
Confirm.
Yes. So when I cook for myself, you know, I'll just cook some grilled cheese and maybe some kale to lessen my anxieties and keep it moving. But when I cook for somebody else, I'm pulling herbs from the garden, from somebody's garden, from gardening, kind of fresh garlic, doing all this extra stuff because I want to make sure that you have the best of whatever product that I'm providing to you. So COVID happened and I'm like, dag, like it's just me in this house and me and this grilled cheese and kale. Like, what am I gonna do? And I had one of my teammates from Afro East, Manny. He had a curbside and he had some tacos, and I ordered from him on a Sunday. And when I got the food, I was like, Dad, you know, it feels good not having to cook for myself because, you know, everybody's cooking for themselves now, or well, what's cooking for themselves when COVID happened because no one's going outside and eating. So I'm like, it feels good like being fed by a friend and being fed by somebody else and not having to, you know, cook my own food or eat my own food. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna just cook and I'm just gonna send it out to my friends and my network and, you know, and experiment on things and feed them because that's how I say I love you. That's how I say I care. That's how I show up to people, you know, like, hey, you're not feeling well. I'm a go. I'm not chasing no chicken with no pants on and stuff, but like I'm gonna go get the chicken and I'm gonna make you some fresh chicken noodle soup and I'll have somebody deliver it to you, or I'll deliver it to you, or you know, I think that's how I've been staying connected with my community, just making sure that I'm feeding them, just making sure I'm present, just making sure I'm checking up on people and check up on your strong friends and your strong friends. You know, because all of us are going through something right now. So staying connected, staying present, and checking up on people and feeding them the best way I can.
Thank you, Getty. Anybody else want to answer that question? How are you staying grounded, centering joy? Go for it, Shakira.
So I am very busy. So my day starts from the minute I wake up and sometimes doesn't end. Like I don't pull into my driveway until like 7:30. And so my mom knows that, and what she would do is she would cook for us. So she'd cook for me, she'd cook for my kids. And so when COVID hit, there wasn't any more of that. And then I had to cook. And so the family joke is, wow, COVID did something that nobody else could. And it was to cook. Right. And it's not that I don't know how to cook, because I do know how to cook. I just never have the time to. And I don't like the kitchen. Like, I don't like having to clean it or do dishes, or I just don't like all the extra stuff.
That's what your kids are for.
I know, but then I have to do it over because they don't do it right.
They don't do it right.
They don't. I have to rewash dishes. So I had to like pull out and, you know, do all the food that they're used to eating that my mom cooks for them. I had to do that. So me and my mom, actually, we got a lot closer, and we did that through Facebook Messenger, because I would say, Mom, it's time to cook. And so I prop her up on my little stand, and then she just kind of, because some of the recipes I forgot how to do, and she would walk me through them, and we're cooking. And I take the phone, I'm like, how does it look now? And I'm like angling it down. She's like, put a little bit more water in it. And I'm like, okay. And literally, this is how I was cooking. And so then my daughter,
that's beautiful.
It was really very nice. And I would like call her and I'm like, you ready? And she's like, yeah. And so we would talk, and I would be cooking and just doing all this stuff. And my daughter is like the best taste tester, because she would always say, they call my mom Guagua. And she would say, your chicken is better than Guagua's.
Oh, don't say that.
Don't say that too loud.
Wow.
I can die now. But yeah, that's certainly, and then after a while, after doing that, then I started to find joy in it. So now it wasn't so much of a chore. Yeah. Now it's like, I have to cook. I'm going to cook for my kids, because I saw that the joy that it brought them to have me actually cooking it, and not just like having tons of Tupperware that my mom sent over, but now like they see me do it. I'm doing all this stuff. And it was so cute, because my daughter says, Mom, when coronavirus is over, are you still gonna cook? I was like, yes, baby, I will still cook for you. So I was like, okay. So it just, again, the family joke is coronavirus made her do something she don't normally do. And everyone laughs at me. Like, my mom even took pictures and sent it off to the family in our little whatever.
Shady for no reason.
That's our parents. They're all shady.
That's what they do, though. That's what they do.
And with no apologies either.
No,
like,
either.
Look at Shakira's cooking. I'm like, oh, thanks, Mom.
Put my whole business out on Front Street. Shanique, did you want to take a go at that question? You don't have to.
Just something that's been like keeping my folks together. I've been hanging out with my sister and my nephew more, and just like learning more about both of them. Like, we're already close. Like, we're all 10 years apart. Like, me and my sister are 10 years, and then me and my nephew are 10 years. So it's like two like best friends are at the age extremities. Like 5, other one is like about to be 15. I'm 25, and we're here trying to all work together. And it's crazy. 15-year-olds are crazy. There's something wrong with the age 15. But it's been just interesting, like learning more about them and just hearing their conversations. Me and my sister, we like purged some of her stuff because I was helping her like do spring cleaning. And I learned that she, when she was in high school at Weaver, that she interned for Joe Lieberman's office. And she did like a whole bunch of like dope things. And it made me kind of sad, actually, that Hartford doesn't offer as many opportunities that she was allowed to like succeed in. But it also like, it was comforting seeing her like reminisce about her like younger years and like give advice to each other. I feel like the pandemic really like slowed life down for a lot of folks. And it was a time to like really like think about what we want to do, how we want to do it, our goals, where we are in life. And I really needed that. I think we both needed that. You just wanted someone else to play with him, and that's what I'm here for. I do not understand Call of Duty. I never will. Why can't we just play some like, I don't know, tag? Yeah. Let's race the dog. I don't know. Like, I do not have hand-eye coordination. Like, I'm here like, but yeah, I feel like this time has given me time to even acknowledge my mom has a green thumb. She likes growing anything and everything. So a lot of my teas I get from her garden, like spearmint, peppermint, tomatoes, hot peppers, pumpkin, anything I can get from her garden. So it's been, even though I kill everything I try to plant, it's been
me too.
It's been calming for me to watch her give life to things, because I just succulent. They say succulents are hard to kill.
I kill them all the time. I'm with you.
I can't. I whispered to it. You know, I don't know what else to do, y'all.
They just wither and die in my house.
Yeah.
I don't.
Right.
Like, no, I don't.
I was putting sage around it, and then I started coughing around the sage. I'm like, am I the toxic?
Am I the spirit?
Is it me, succulent? Well, fine then.
I don't want you anyway.
Go be with my ancestors. Damn. I know I have an ancestral garden because it's not a living one. So. They are not here.
Oh my God.
Yo. Okay. Woo. Thank you.
I'm good for dropping off my plants at somebody else's house. Like, hey, this is not happening.
They're
this
struggling.
plant is dying with me.
Yeah.
You're a plant mommy. Take it. I'm like, you can do it. I'm like, no, I can't.
I can't.
You
I
know
want to, but it doesn't work out.
You know your lane, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
We don't all got to be good at everything. Okay, so the next question. Thank you for entertaining that random pop-off question. I've been thinking about joy and grounding a lot, and routines and rituals and those kinds of things, and they can look different for different people. So I appreciate y'all for that. The next question that I have is, what is something that you closely associate with home?
I think music. Like every time, like a lot of Black folks and what's Indian folks, because we all Caribbean women over here. It's just like the music of cleaning. Like there's a certain play when you're cleaning, a certain playlist you play when you're, or divorce court if you're me, because I gotta switch it up. Jacqueline, there's a certain like sound that's like to do acts, and like even when I'm away, like when I lived in Ghana for a year studying abroad, I would always play like my Barris Hammond and like my Gregory Isaacs and like just our old time, 80s and 90s Jamaican music, because that's what my mother and my father like would clean and cook with and like do their little dances with. And every time I hear it, it like brings me back to like a time of childhood when things were innocent and I didn't have bills. And
I hate it here.
Right? Like, who is the manager?
I would like to be the manager.
I'm tired of it. I keep trying to tell my mom I'm always her child, So if she ever wants to just take up the bill responsibility, because but yeah, like music, and it's not only like Jamaican music, just music from around the diaspora period. Like I've been listening to more like Afro Caribbean music, like when it comes to Haitian music, like the art of Goya. If y'all don't know Goya, that's like the sexual dance, and you do all that, like, oof. And,
that's how babies are made.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's how babies are made.
And then like listening to Congolese music and Angolan music, which is like merengue comes from, and like just connecting all of like where we all come from basically, and how we can just hear them. And like everything has a drum to it. And drum, like if I was an instrument, I would be a drum. And not like the one with like the sticks, but like the one
the
drum beat.
Soulful, yes.
Yeah. That's anytime I hear a drum or just like some music that are by Black folks, I'm just like, where are my Black people? And then I like at home.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. The drum is certainly something that I connect to as well, because there's something, in Puerto Rico, we have the dance called bomba, right? Which is very much like the African dancing. And, when you're ready to call on the ancestors and just kind of dance with your ancestors and stuff like that. But there's just something about that drum that you just start and you feel it. Like I'm sure y'all will agree with me, but I actually feel the blood, right? I feel my blood running through me, and then you can't help but move. And it's that connection to the music, because, you can use music or sound to call on the ancestors or your spirit team or whoever. And then hearing this music and just kind of like being in that zone or being in that realm really just helps you to connect to home. And definitely with the cleaning music, because I have Mark Anthony radio on at all volumes, or La India, whoever it is, and again, I was recently, it's funny because sometimes I just used to have the music on for background noise, but then I really started listening to the lyrics, and listen, some of those lyrics are a little trifling. Like they talk about taking other people men, other people women.
Right, and they always talking shit about our generation.
Yes.
Y'all over here populating the neighbors. Yes. I don't know. You know how many people I've run into that look like me?
It was scandalous. Like, hold up. Like, it really made me just kind of go, what? Let me hit 15 seconds back. And then just kind of like really listen to, because I'm listening to it and I'm singing it in Spanish, but then I'm just like, hold on. Oh, okay. Right. So again, there's just that connection. Not that, I promote or whatever infidelity, but there's a lot of that in our music now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there's a tea sip for that.
Yeah. Getty. What reminds you? What is something you closely associate with home before this conversation goes left?
I mean, it's associated with home, the APs, the spices, the peppers, the garlic, the onions. When you blend those peppers, onions, and garlic together, it just gives you that fragrance. It always reminds me of home. But recently, on my adventures around, I came across like this stand that had Haitian mangoes. And it brought me so much joy. I didn't even realize that mangoes were gonna bring me this joy. And I'm talking about like the good Haitian mangoes, and you peel it, none of this peeling it and cutting it with a knife. I'm talking about like you taking it with your yes.
The raw done. Take it to the head.
Yes, it's getting stuck in your teeth. There's no way of taking it out. That really reminds me of home. I have one in the refrigerator right now. I was gonna eat it before this live, and I was like, I don't know if that's wise because it's gonna be in my teeth. But I think Haitian mangoes and just like the smell of like ippies and peppers and onions and garlic really remind me. The Haitian mangoes and more so reminds me of like my godmother, because she raised me for a good portion of my life while my mother came to United States to, create life and to bring us over to the land of the free, or however that looks like, and whatever. Yeah, exactly. That part. And she used to travel a lot back and forth. She lived in Martinique, but traveled a lot back and forth to Haiti. She was a merchant. So I think like when I saw like the Haitian mango, it reminded me of that. It reminded me of like walking them in the market area with her, and her selling her fruits and vegetables and whatever else that she was selling, an array of different things. And I remember sitting there and just having a mango in my hand. And to be quite honest, it wasn't until I saw that mango on the stand that memory invoked on me. And I was like, oh, wow. Like it was like a lost memory. And that association with mangoes. I've seen mangoes in the US. I've seen mangoes all over the place, but it was just something about it being on this corner of this, I think it was a bodega. It was nothing special about but like this corner of this bodega, and just an array of them just laid out, and it had sugar canes on the side, it had coconuts, and it just reminded me of being in the marketplace with my godmother and her selling her things, and me just being this child just running around. I had pants on because we was out in public, but
I cannot.
And I think that's what I'm associated with, like mangoes and spices and all the goodness that creates good Caribbean food.
Oh my God, your face is glowing just talking about it.
I tell you. Yeah, really, like it's serious for me. I get
you so much joy. Yeah.
I think something that like sticks out for me is that like for a long time when I was younger, like there was only like Jamaicans and like if I heard music, oh, that's Jamaican music. That's like that's that. And so just hearing other cultures, and I remember like I'll never forget, I was a senior in high school in Miss Perez's class, and we were talking about Miss Perez's last name. I don't know if you remember the conversation, but we were arguing. I was like, Miss Perez married a Spanish man, and that's Perez. And they were like, and so we were like arguing, like she can't be like Puerto Rican, she's Black. And like, sorry to interrupt this conversation. Haitian, but I am Black and I'm Puerto Rican. And that was like my first exposure to Black folks with like that Latina culture and Latinx like islands. I didn't know that. And I didn't know I didn't know a lot of what other cultures, other Caribbean cultures were made of. I didn't know the food. I didn't know how people looked. There was only like Jamaica or like America. And so as I like got older and I went to college in Boston, I met a lot of Haitians. That's how I learned
out there.
Kumpa and Kizumba. Right, literally. And then I also learned about like the hate a lot of Haitians get in Boston. Out of the like, it was just a lot. And I was just like, I don't understand. And then when I went to Ghana and I lived there and I saw Africans dancing merengue and Kizumba, I was like, these are Latinx dances. Like, this is a culture shock. They were like, these are our dances. This over here. And I was like, so it was like, it was just a huge culture shock for me to see like Black folks over here in the West that we deem as non-Black. Black spaces doing Black things. People that weren't necessarily Black, but they are. So I guess for me, that's why like music means so much to me. I can connect. I may not be able to understand the TV shows or even the music or even the understanding of the culture, but like I get my music is the way in. And then I can explore because then I can see the way folks dance to it, the way folks address, celebrate, pray. There's a lot of like connections between like voodoo and like obia, the Jamaican traditional religion, right? And just the way we love and share and the way we like talk shit even. I asked folks on a status, like, what's your favorite Black proverb? And it was some in Spanish, some in English, some in Patois. And it was just like, we all say the same thing, but because we're just saying it a little differently. Yeah. We all have the grandmothers that tell us, that we ain't shit. But in love.
or you're getting fat.
Or you're getting fat, right? Or you can't cook. Or,
or like, why ain't you married yet?
Why aren't you married yet? You know this song lyric, but you need to pick up a book.
But you need to pick up a book.
Go perm your hair,
Oh,
what's wrong with your hair because you're natural?
Right.
Hello, malo.
What's wrong with your hair?
Yes. Yeah. Are you need money to get your hair done? No.
Right.
No.
Yeah, it's funny because one of the things that I noticed, like when we all came on, is just how different, like even our hair. So Getty has her hair in a wrap. Shanique
that's
has
because
her locks, I have my little curly fro. Claudine has her hair, her little, puff.
Hello, India Ari do.
Yeah, and so that's like I thought it was so beautiful. I was like, oh, look at us.
It's because there's a lot going on under here. I'm under quarantine, guys.
Okay, nobody know that but you.
No judgment.
But there was something that you mentioned that really struck me about when you went to Boston and the hate that you experienced towards Haitians. I didn't really claim my heritage as far as being Haitian until like really late into my 20s. Because it was just an embarrassment all the way up through there. When I moved here, first my native language was French and I'm learning Creole from my mother. And now I'm learning English from PBS or
Sesame Street
or ESL or whoever was teaching me English at that time. And then, we had, you came in with the Haitian culture. I had that one Haitian dress and like 4 different colors with the nays and the ribbons and the socks.
The ribbons in your...
Yes, I was going to public school like it was Sunday's best.
Like you were going to church.
Yes, like I did Sunday's best every 5 days a week. And kids were like so mean. And then my name was Getty. It was just like a lot going on. Like, so I experienced a lot of hate, a lot of hurtful words and trauma even from school, just for just plain blank being Haitian, and I avoided saying that I was Haitian for a very long time or acknowledging. I used to be like, oh no, I'm from Martinique. Because also I only spoke in French. So I was only claiming the one side. I'm from Martinique. I don't know nothing about no Haitian, but obviously I look Haitian because you see me. And it wasn't until I started embracing my culture and even like growing up, I never learned how to cook Haitian food because I didn't need to know how to cook Haitian food. I was gonna marry a Puerto Rican, and I didn't want nothing associated with the culture. And I realized that I was doing myself such a disjustice in doing that. And when I got to know better and got to know more of my culture and really started embracing it, that's when I think I really started really becoming who I am now and really tapping into my real purpose in life. So like when you said that, I just like kind of like, I was like, Dad, those were some rough days back then. But you know, I wouldn't take them away for anything because it made me stronger in who I am today. So I appreciate it. Look at Manny now.
Look at
sweet.
Right. And I think I'm loving like this new age where we're in. It was like we're African descendants of like slavery and we're proud, right? Or we're up from the diaspora and we're proud. Like just the Afro beats going mainstream. Now I can do my little what? I don't have to be the only one in my room. Like so like and it's just like, I feel like there's just so much growth and just seeing just so much more people being out and proud about who they are and their heritage. And just like this, like, I know my sister talks about like when she came to America when she was 5, she had to go through classes to get rid of her accent. And that really bothers me because it's like our accents are a part of who we are. Parents are also guilty for that, right? You know, making sure they correct us. I'll never forget my aunt in Jamaica. I was doing something and she was saying biography. You have to do the biography of Malcolm X. So I'm over here, I go back to school and like, this is the biography. Geography, my nigga? Like, and so like, that bothered me so much. So even now I'm teaching like sex ed, I have to like, and I try to catch myself because it's like, you know, there's nothing wrong with saying things with an accent. There's nothing wrong with speech. This is how your family speaks. This is a word, Shanique. This is your folks coming through you.
Don't swallow your tongue.
Right, don't swallow your tongue. There were a lot of whips, lashings, and bloodshed that it took for my family even to speak English. If I'm not speaking it correctly. So that comes from the hate of being like Haitian from like Jamaicans and you know the 90s in Connecticut. Black Puerto Ricans, which was like such a like push in my head.
Yes.
I was like, what? I was like, you're what? And you know that like meme where it's like, she's like,
yes.
When Miss Perez said that, I was like, so
all these math calculations going through your head and everything.
So I was like, so you mean that there's Black people in Puerto Rico?
Totally remember that too. I totally remember Shanique just being like, the Matrix, like what is happening? She was just so bewildered. And you know, it's just so interesting to me because I remember a few years back, I put faux locks in my hair. And so it was the summertime, so my windows were down and I'm blasting Mark Anthony in my car. So I pull up at a stoplight. I have these faux locks. I'm very tan because it's the summer and I'm playing Mark Anthony. And the car next to me is just kind of like, what is going on here? And I just, you know, there was a time when I would always defend myself and people would say like, stop lying. Or I hated when they would say, well, speak Puerto Rican. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And if I did, I would follow it with pardon my Spanish. I would say, whatever, pendejo. So you would know that that's what it was. But, you know, just now I'm just so unapologetic about it and I wear it. And I mean, like, I wear the African print. I will rock my colors. I will speak Spanish wherever. Like it doesn't even matter. And, you know, I really embrace it. And I also, you know, make sure that my students embrace it too, you know, like whatever color you are or wherever you're from. I had a couple of students from Brazil. And, you know, Spanish and Portuguese are very similar, but we understood each other. And, you know, they would always come to me because they knew that and they knew that I would understand them. And they just, you know, it really is, I'm very proud of who I am and where I'm from, and even the way that I look, because for the longest time, you know, there was the thing with my hair, and I would relax my hair, and for a very long time.
Those days.
Yeah, I remember my relaxed hair. And then it wasn't until I had my daughter, I have a 10-year-old daughter, where I was just like, you know what? I'm not relaxing my hair anymore, because I need her to love her own hair. We have the same kind of hair. And I was like, I need her to love her hair as well. And, you know, just kind of ingraining that in her as well, that self-love, that pride in who you are and where you're from, because all of that is important, because that cannot be taken away from you.
Yeah.
I'm hearing so many different things. This beautiful conversation.
Yeah.
I'm hearing a challenge, like as youth, with the either falling into the idea of being an American and the American dream, what it means to like buck that system as adults. I'm hearing the challenge of, you know, if you were the migration difference, right? So like I was born here, Shanique and Shakira, we were all born in America, and our experience around like the people around us versus Getty, who like immigrated here, and your experience of being that person that like came here and had to fit in, right? I remember like being embarrassed about, I grew up in Massachusetts. I grew up in, you know, right outside of Boston and all of that, right? And like bringing my parents around, where my dad was loud and proud and didn't give a fuck about who heard him when he was shouting. The first day I got my period, he shouted it on the street.
Oh my God.
They don't care. They have no clue. They don't care.
And you want to shrink and you want to go away. But like, he didn't know what else to do. That's how he showed support. Like somewhere in him knew that this was like a thing.
Menstruating!
Let's menstruate! She's period. And I was like, no, I just need help washing the sheets. So like.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
But the other thing that I'm like really pulling about, like how we're stepping into our power today as who we are today and our identity today, and is this idea of like making sure that we can show up so that the people coming after us, the baby organizers, the baby Haitians, the baby Puerto Ricans, the baby Jamaicans, all these folks, right, don't have to go through the same things that we went through. Or as hard, maybe, to be able to get to where we're at now, right? Which brings us to our last question. The tagline of Connecticut UndocuFund is, "The people help each other." When you hear that, what comes to mind?
For me, that is not forgetting anyone. Like I said, like in my youth, I was ignorant to like the life of Black people and what Black people look like across the diaspora. I now no longer make that mistake. Walk into spaces and I'm fighting for undocumented that's undocumented Black Puerto Ricans, Brazilians, Haitians, Jamaicans, Africans, across all the plentiful African countries, Canadians, like wherever you are and you're Black, right? That's who I'm fighting for. And not only that you're Black, but can you you know, what's your ability? Do you need ASL, right? Do you need BS? Do you need some type of assistance? Can you physically attend this event, or do you need like Wi-Fi capabilities and a laptop? Like, how can I for you in all your Blackness? And for me, that's really not forgetting that Blackness is not monolithic. Even within my own community, even within Hartford, even within my own home. Have conversations with my mother, my sister, and my father. There's an intergenerational gap, and I have to leave space for that. So showing up for my community is showing up in all the ways that my community needs me. And that's for like everyone from the ignorant ass problematic elders, you know, the folks who don't necessarily care about it, to the folks who, you know, from the crackheads, to the sex workers, to the drug dealers, to the gangbangers, to the respectability politic folks who feel like because they went to Harvard that they better than, like, that's for everybody. And how
we're gonna sip on that.
That's for everyone, because when we do these movements, I always think like, would fifth grade Shanique understand this? No. Then you have to speak in a way that is understandable. And my father be comfortable coming here and speaking, because he has a habit of just smiling and nodding his head because he doesn't feel like his English is proficient enough. If I can't make you feel like you can even physically speak in this space, then this space isn't welcoming enough, and I need to change something about that if I have the power to. That's how I show up.
How proud are you, Miss Perez?
Listen, let me tell you something, Shanique. I will tell you,
I wasn't always like this.
No, this little firecracker right here, she has always had a space in my heart. But to see the woman that she has become and continues to become, it just makes my heart so full. So when I think of people helping people, I think of like even Shanique just being an inspiration to me, because like for her to be as vocal as she is, I follow her on Facebook, and I see everything that she does and how she is like on the front line of these protests and fighting for people. And just, even when she was in Africa and just, I know that she found a connection there, like, to the homeland or whatever, and just seeing how she fully embraces the human experience as a Black person, it just really is inspiring. And the fact that she doesn't hold it in, she's not selfish about it. She definitely wants everyone to feel the same thing that she feels. So when I think of, this line of people helping people, I can't help but think of Shanique in that way too, because you really are an inspiration, Shanique. And I mean, but I just, it is, that's what it is. It's not just holding it in, but just being out there and just like, and even for me, I'm 42, but she inspires me to make sure that I'm out there protesting and,
Me too, where?
Right here.
Hey.
But, just making sure that I'm out there and I'm also advocating for my students, for their families, for the people around me. Like that is how we help each other. We get inspired by others, and then we take that same inspiration and we bring it out there as well. I love you, Shanique.
Te amo, mi amor. That's it. That's all I know.
That's okay. Te amo también.
Eddie.
When I think about the tagline, immediately what came to me was like that U.S. Army creed of no man left behind, where, and it seems this is what we're doing here, like no immigrants left behind, no one left behind. There's money being distributed, there's services being distributed, and the ones that stood up on the front lines, there's plenty of jobs that immigrants, undocumented immigrants are doing that people that are here legally, or people, Americans, or however you want to describe your status, will not do. And these people now are laid off. And my regular job, I deal a lot with small businesses and companies. And so a lot of businesses, they had to lay off a lot of people. A lot of those people are undocumented. A lot of people don't have Social Security. So a lot of people did not get any money, that $1,200 or $1,500. So now they're just like waiting. So when I think about that, I think about like everyone gets a piece. Everyone gets taken care of. No one is without their basic need, which is one of the things that I'm like really passionate about, this is one of the things that like really fuels any of the businesses or caterings that I do, is like, hey, you should not be without food. You should not be without finding a roof over your head. You should not be without water, your basic human need. And that's kind of like what comes to me when I think about that tagline.
I love y'all. Can we do a collective snap for this?
And sip of water.
And then
a sip of water.
The last sip.
Like what? How many gallons? What is that? I've never seen a cup that big. Whose cup is that? Who is that for?
That's a carafe.
It's a carafe. Get hydrated.
Out
of a whole ass vase.
Like beer things that you see, like Germans, like like.
Yes.
Go ahead with the
y'all. It is 2 p.m. I want to thank you for such a beautiful and robust conversation. I hope y'all feel a little bit more grounded. People in the chat, I hope y'all also feel a little bit more grounded in watching this. This is one of the things that brings me immense joy, is creating spaces for people to show up fully and completely. And so thank you all for tuning in to episode 2 of Breaking Bread and Borders. Just a brief update about what's going on with Connecticut UndocuFund. Thank you so much for your support to help us get our initial fundraising goal of $75,000, y'all.
Yes, beautiful.
So right now, Connecticut UndocuFund is in the process of distributing the checks to the families that applied for support. And they're figuring out next steps. So stay tuned for more updates, stay tuned for more events. We're gonna keep doing this and keep figuring out ways to create connections around food, migration, and home. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you, Shanique. Thank you, Shakira. Thank you, Getty.
Oh, can I say one thing? I just want to say this because I've been having a lot of conversation with different groups of Black people lately. When you go out there and fight that good fight of Black Lives Matter, make sure that includes all Black lives. It includes immigrant lives, it includes queer lives, it includes our trans lives. And that's all I gotta say. And stay hydrated.
And stay hydrated.
It's important.
Don't really drinking out of a fucking vase. So I couldn't resist.
Thank you.
But yes, when we say Black Lives Matter, make sure you're talking about all Black lives, not just the Black lives you choose to support.
Yeah. Not just the Black, the Black immigrants, the Black Caribbeans, the Black trans, the Black queers, the Black women,
just the educated Black,
all
not
of
just
them. All of them.
All of that.
Yes.
All right, y'all. Thank you.
Thank
Happy
you.
Saturday.
Thank you so
Get
much.
Out, get some sun. Be great. Love y'all.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.